Unrest by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. The further you journey and wander from the sweet, simple faith of your youth, the more you peer into the yonder and search for the root of all truth. No matter what secrets uncover their veiled mystic brows in your quest, or close on your astral sight hover, still you walk with unrest. If you seek for strange things, you will find them, but the find shall bring you to grief. The dead lock their portals behind them, and he who breaks through is a thief. The soul with such ill-gotten plunder, with its premature knowledge oppressed, shall grope in unsatisfied wonder, always by the shores of unrest. Though bold hands lift up the thin curtain that hides the unknown from our sight, though a shadowy faith becomes certain of the new life that follows death's night, though miracles past comprehending shall startle the heart in your breast, still will your thirst be unending, and your soul will be sad with unrest. There are truths too sublime and too holy to grasp with a mortal mind's touch. We are happier far to be lowly. Content means not knowing too much. Peace dwells not with hearts that are yearning to fathom all labyrinths unguessed, and the soul that is bent on vast learning shall find with its knowledge unrest. Together by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. We two, in the fever and fervor and glow of life's high tide, have rejoiced together. We have looked out over the glittering snow and knew that we were dwelling in summer weather. For the seasons are made by the heart, I hold, and not by outdoor heat or cold. We two, in the shadows of pain and woe, have journeyed together in dim, dark places, where black-robed sorrow walked to and fro, and fear and trouble, with phantom faces, peered out upon us and froze our blood, though June's fair roses were all in bud. We have measured all depths, all heights. We have bathed in tears. We have sunned in laughter. We have known all sorrows and all delights. They never could keep us apart hereafter. Whenever your spirit was sent, I know, I would defy earth or heaven to go. If they took my soul into paradise and told me I must be content without you, I would weary them so with my weary cries and the ceaseless questions I asked about you, they would open the gates and set me free, or else they would find you and bring you to me. One Day by Mary Riddell Corley. The empty house is sad and dark and still, but by the shore and o'er the fair green hill, I hear the echoing laugh and voices shrill of little ones at play. And sitting lonely thus, I watched the glow, the grand sun setting. We loved it so. When, in its light, we met so long ago, we met and kissed one day. I look along the road, no shadow falls. My heart beats fast, but still no fond voice calls. Only a rustle in the dim, wide halls where ghostly curtains sway. If from their depths you should come forth tonight, and, touching mouth and eyes with kisses light, could heal my wounds and give me life and sight, what would I dare to say? Could I dare to tell thee of the weary years, bereft of joy, the eyes grown dim with tears, the fainting heart bowed down with bitter fears? This only could I say, only the four fond words, I love thee still, with all a woman's dower of strength and will, while life shall last, while the pulses throb and thrill. I love thee as that day. Ah me, no whisper wakes, no kisses fall, only the shadows fill the darkening hall. Thou art at rest, and I, in life's sad thrall, must work and weep and pray. When all the long, sad years have past me rolled, shall silver locks shine once again as gold? Shall I be young who have grown tired and old? When shall we meet? One day? After. After the shower, the tranquil sun. After the snow, the emerald leaves. Silver stars when the day is done. After the harvest, golden sheaves. After the clouds, the violet sky. After the tempest, the lull of waves. Quiet woods when the winds go by. After the battle, peaceful graves. After the knell, the wedding bells. After the bud, the radiant rose. Joyful greetings from sad farewells. After our weeping, sweet repose. After the burden, the blissful mead. After the flight, the downy nest. After the furrow, the waking seed. After the shadowy river, rest. Nothing lost but a heart, drifting away from each other, speedily drifting apart. Nothing between but the world's cold screen, nothing to lose but a heart. Only two lives dividing, more and more every day. Only one soul from another soul, steadily drifting away. Only a man's heart striving, bitterly hard with its doom. Only a hand, tender and bland, slipping away in the gloom. Nothing of doubt or wrong, nothing that either can cure, nothing to shame, nothing to blame, nothing to do but endure. The world cannot keep still. Times ebb and women change. Nothing here that is worth a tear. One love less, nothing strange. Drifting away from each other, steadily drifting apart. No wrong to each that the world can reach. Nothing lost but a heart. In School Days by John G. Whittier. Still sits the schoolhouse by the road, a ragged beggar sunning. Around it still the sumacs grow, and blackberry vines are running. Within, the master's desk is seen, deep scarred by raps official, the warping floor, the battered seats, the jackknife's carved initial. The charcoal frescoes on its wall, its door's worn sill betraying the feet that, creeping slow to school, went storming out to playing. Long years ago, a winter sun shone over it at setting, lit up its western window panes and low eaves icy fretting. It touched the tangled golden curls and brown eyes full of grieving of one who still her steps delayed when all the school were leaving. For near her stood a little boy, her childish favor singled, his cap pulled low upon a face where pride and shame were mingled. Pushing with restless feet the snow, to right and left he lingered, as restlessly her tiny hands the blue-checked apron fingered. He saw her lift her eyes, he felt the soft hands light caressing, and heard the tremble of her voice, as if a fault confessing. I'm sorry that I spelt the word. I hate to go above you. Because, the brown eyes lower fell, because, you see, I love you. Still memory to a gray-haired man, that sweet child face is showing. Dear girl, the grasses on her grave have 40 years been growing. He lives to learn, in life's hard school, how few who pass above him lament their triumphs and his loss, like her, because they love him. The Girdle of Friendship by O. W. Holmes. She gathered at her slender waist the beauteous robe she wore. Its folds a golden belt embraced, one rose-hued gem it bore. The girdle shrank, its lessening round still kept the shining gem, but now her flowing locks it bound, a lustrous diadem. And narrower still the circlet grew, behold, a glittering band, its roseate diamond set askew, her neck's white column spanned. Suns rise and set, the straining clasp, the shortened links resist, yet flashes in a bracelet's grasp the diamond on her wrist. At length the round of changes past, the thieving years could bring the jewel, glittering to the last, still sparkles in a ring. So link by link our friendships part, so loosen, break, and fall. A narrowing zone, the loving heart lives changeless through them all. The land of the afternoon. An old man sits in his garden chair, watching the sunlit western sky. What sees he in the blue depths there, where only the isles of memory lie? There are princely towers and castles high. There are gardens fairer than human ken. There are happy children thronging by, radiant women and stately men, singing with the voices of sweet attune the songs of the land of the afternoon. The old man watches a form of cloud that floats where the azure islands are, and he sees a homestead, gray and loved, and a hand that beckons him afar. O cheek of rose and hair of gold, O eyes of heaven's divinest blue, long have you lain in the graveyard mold, but love is infinite, love is true. He will find her, yes, it must be soon. They will meet in the land of the afternoon. The sky has changed, and a wreck of cloud is driving athwart its troubled face. The golden mist is a trailing shroud. It is cold and bleak in the garden place. The old man smiles and droops his head. The thin hair droops from his wrinkled brow. The sunset radiance has spread o'er every wasted feature now. One sigh exhales like a breath in June. He has found the land of the afternoon. The Old Mill by Thomas Dunn English. Here from the brow of the hill I look through a lattice of boughs and leaves on the old gray mill with its bramble roof and the moss on its rotting eaves. I hear the clatter that jars its walls and the rushing water's sound, and I see the black floats rise and fall as the wheel goes slowly round. I rode there often when I was young, and with my grist on the horse before, and talked with Nellie, the miller's girl, as I waited my turn at the door. And while she tossed her ringlets brown, and flirted and chatted so free, the wheel might stop or the wheel might go, it was all the same to me. 'Tis 20 years since last I stood on the spot where I stand today, and Nellie is wed, and the miller is dead, and the mill and I are gray. But both, till we fall into ruin and wreck, to our fortunes of toil are bound. And the man goes, and the stream flows, and the wheel turns slowly round. The Schoolmaster's Daughter by R.K. Munkittrick. I know a schoolhouse in days gone by that stood by a country road. The arching elm shadowed it over, and near by a brooklet flowed. And there, through the weary afternoons, the girls in their calico gowns and the boys in butternut used to sit, struggling with verbs and nouns. The old schoolteacher was gray and grim, a man severe and stern, and hard it was, neath that iron hand, for a stupid boy to learn. And there was a stupid boy in the let, the stupidest boy in school, and everyone from the teacher down, thought him a hopeless fool. Every one, I said, ah no, there was one whose heart was kind, and whose gentle spirit fell like the sun upon the dullard mind. There was one who taught him, when school was over, the wearisome task to say, and led him to study and understand the schoolmaster's daughter, May. How gentle and patient she always was, with her pupil dull and slow. How much there was plain to her, that it seemed he would never know. But she never failed in her chosen task, and ceaselessly worked away. And the stupid boy, the butt of the school, grew cleverer every day. And how did he turn out? Well, my boy, he didn't turn out so ill. He has been selectman of this small town, and he's working his own farm still. And the schoolmaster's daughter, the little May, she's the best of his love and life. For I was the stupid boy, you see, and May, well, May is my wife. The Ship of Dreams by May Kendall. When silent lies the sleeping town in its profoundest rest, there is a ship come sailing down upon the river's breast. Wide-winged as that enchanted swan, she saileth through the night, and purple grows the gloom upon the magic of her flight. The bark she bears no mortal names, no crew of mortal mold, Ulysses' ship of song and flame, of cedar wood and gold. She is the ship that Turner knew on the enchanted seas. She floats far isles of music through, and isles of memories, and she is mystically fraught with dreams remembered long, that drift on all the tides of thought and all the seas of song. She hath Ulysses by her helm, as in the olden time, this ship of a diviner realm and of a fairer clime. When silent lies the sleeping town, unknown to human ken, another ship goes sailing down, bearing the souls of men. She is the ship of shadowy mist, of mist and mournful gray. There is no gloom of amethyst about her pallid way. As silent as that dim ship came, she steals into the dark. She is no ship of mortal name, but an eternal bark. Her deck is thronged with shadows wan. She will not pause or stay. So speedily she bears them on, all on an unknown way. But sometimes, when the dusky tide hath filled the widening stream, that wan and shadowy ship will glide by the ship of song and dream, whereon the watchers dimly know a terror in the dark, a pallor, but a fading glow flushes the shadowy bark. Our Own by Margaret E. Sangster. If I had known in the morning how wearily all the day the words unkind would trouble my mind, I said when you went away, I had been more careful, darling, nor given you needless pain. but we vex our own with look and tone we may never take back again. For though in the quiet evening you may give us the kiss of peace, yet it might be that never for me the pain of the heart should cease. How many go forth in the morning that never come home at night, and hearts have broken for harsh words spoken that sorrow can never set right. We have careful thoughts for the stranger, and smiles for the sometime guest, but oft for our own the bitter tone, though we love our own the best. Ah, lips with a curve impatient, ah, brow with that look of scorn, 'twere a cruel fate were the night too late to undo the work of the morn. Aunt Martha's Spinning Wheel by Samuel Minturn Peck. With spider webbing tattered in travesties of lace, mid treasures years have shattered, once miracles of grace, imploring time to spare it with rusty tongue of steel. Behold it in the garret, Aunt Martha's spinning wheel. With slow and pensive fingers I wipe the webs away, while loving fancy lingers to paint an olden day, when youth and beauty crowned it. What gay songs used to peal, now crickets wail around it. Aunt Martha's spinning wheel. I softly touch the treadle, it gives a plaintive squeak. It begs me not to meddle in murmurs sad and meek. Alas, the feet that lithely once twinkled through the reel no more shall pat it blithely. Aunt Martha's spinning wheel. How oft its noisy turning hath served a lover's need, and kept age from discerning what only youth should heed. 'Twould drown both vows and kisses that lovers love to steal. A dear old treasure this is, Aunt Martha's spinning wheel. For fear of house adorner, in search of bric-a-brac, far in the garret corner, with sighs I put it back, and there, just as I found it, I leave for woe or weal, with ghosts to gold around it, and Martha's spinning wheel. Nobility by Alice Carey. True worth is in being, not seeing, in doing each day that goes by some little good, not in the dreaming of great things to do by and by. For whatever men say in blindness and spite of the fancies of youth, there's nothing so kingly as kindness, and nothing so royal as truth. We get back our meat as we measure. We cannot do wrong and feel right, nor can we give pain and gain pleasure, for justice avenges each slight. The air for the wing of the sparrow, the bush for the robin and wren, but always the path that is narrow and straight for the children of men. 'Tis not in the pages of story the heart of its ills to beguile, though he who makes courtship to glory gives all that he hath for her smile. For when from her heights he has won her, alas, it is only to prove that nothing's so sacred as honor, and nothing so loyal as love. We cannot make bargains for blisses, nor catch them like fishes in nets, and sometimes the thing our life misses helps more than the thing which it gets. For good lieth not in pursuing, nor gaining of great nor of small, but just in the doing, and doing as we would be done by is all. Through envy, through malice, through hating against the world early and late, nor jot of our courage abating, our part is to work and to wait. And slight is the sting of his troubles, whose winnings are less than his worth. For he who is honest is noble, whatever his fortunes or birth. To one in heaven. George D. Prentice, himself one of the most gifted of the American bards, thought that no living poet could surpass the gracefulness or beauty of the following lines from the Muse of Amelia. Pale star, that with thy soft, sad light came out upon my bridal eve, I have a song to sing tonight, before thou tak'st thy mournful leave. Since then so softly time has stirred, that months have almost seemed like hours, and I am like a little bird that slept too long among the flowers, and waking sit with waveless wing. But oh, with sadder heart I sing of one who dwells in heaven. The winds are soft, the clouds are few, and tenderest thoughts my heart beguile, as, floating up through mist and dew, the pale young moon comes out and smiles. And to the green, resounding shore, in silvery troops the ripples crowd, till all the ocean, dimpled o'er, lifts up his voice and laughs aloud. And star on star, all soft and calm, floats up yon arch, serenely blue, and lost to earth, and steeped in balm, my spirit floats in ether too. Loved one, though lost to human sight, I feel thy spirit lingering near, as softly as I feel the light that trembles through the atmosphere. As in some temple's holy shades, though mute the hymn and hushed the prayer, a solemn awe the soul pervades, which tells that worship has been there. A breath of incense, left alone, where many a censer swung around, will thrill the wanderer like a tone, who treads on consecrated ground. I know thy soul, from worlds of bliss, that stoops awhile to dwell with me, hath caught the prayer I have breathed in this, that I at least may dwell with thee. I hear the murmur of the seas, that thrills me like thy spirit sighs. I hear a voice on every breeze, that makes to mine its soft replies, a voice all low and sweet like thine. It gives an answer to my prayer, and brings my soul from heaven a sign that I shall know and meet thee there. I'll know thee there by that sweet face round which a tender halo plays, still touched with that expressive grace that made thee lovely all thy days, by that sweet smile that o'er it had a beauty like the light of even, whose soft expression never fled, even when his soul had fled to heaven. I'll know thee by that starry crown that glitters in thy raven hair. Oh, by these blessed signs alone, I'll know thee there, I'll know thee there. For ah, thine eye within those fair, the sweets of youth and beauty met, that swam in love and softness there, must swim in love and softness yet. For ah, its dark and liquid beams, though saddened by the softest sighs, were holier than the light that streams down from the gates of paradise, where bright and radiant like the morn, yet soft and dewy as the eve, too sad for eyes where smiles are born, too young for ears that learn to grieve. I wonder if this cold, sweet breeze hath touched thy lips and fanned thy brow, for all my spirit bears and sees. Recall thee to my memory now, for every hour we breathe apart will but increase, if that can be, the earnest love that fills my heart, already filled so full of thee. Yet many a tear these eyes must weep, and many a tear these eyes must weep, and many a sin must be forgiven ere these pale lips shall sink to sleep, ere thou and I shall be in heaven. A Plea for Castles in the Air by Jacob Goff. Amid the myriad troubles that meet us day by day, who would not from the conflict a moment turn away, and in a far-off fairyland where men no burdens bear, forget awhile our tears and toil in castles in the air, when many a bright-hued prospect fades fast beyond our view, and hopes which neared fruition prove shadowy and untrue? May we not, in that dreamland beyond all clouds and care, behold our paradise restored in castles in the air? Oh, there are lonely chambers in every home and heart, and in life's song of sorrow each one must bear a part. But hark! What mystic melodies soon hush the voice of care, as parted hands are clasped once more in castles in the air. Then never grow discouraged, though fortune favors not, and we pursue life's pilgrimage unnoticed or forgot. We have an hour of victory and lustrous laurels wear, for all are kings and conquerors in castles in the air.